What's up, Timmy? Memories are indeed made here. In this chat, you're getting in where you fit right in. So, I think you're right on track. I traded a bunch of these quantum names. Pre-market. 7 a.m. pop, a little bit of rounding action. Started in, covered through highs. Reacted to the parabolic. I tried to cover partial, and I misclicked and overcovered. So the first two arrows were shorts. And I tried to cover like a third, and I overcovered by a third. So then I was long. So then this third arrow was a sell. The candle had wicked back up. So then I was all messed up from there. So my plan was just wait till market open. 10 minutes in before market open, it just starts rolling over and dying. After a $12 pre-market consolidating for hours. And then whoop, right there, right into market open, loses over $1 a share. It was pissing me off. I had shorted, covered. This one was premature cover. Or was it? Did I get stopped out? I thought I had covered prematurely. 1096. Okay, I guess it did stop out by a penny. 1097, 1096. Stopped me out. Immediately failed. Shorted. Covered at lows. Re-shorted. Scaled, looking for 1050s to stay heavy. It didn't stay heavy, so I sized down. Rescaled. Failed. This was that should have died moment. I had mentioned it in Investors Underground in the chat room that right here, once it's saved, that it felt like it should have died. So I had covered. I had put on a starter here and was just going to let it grind me with some wider risk. So I got stopped there. So really only had 2 winners on it. 2 winners, 2 losers, and 1 scratch trade. And then this was the trade that put me red on it. Was this one. I had shorted it and set a stop and left for the day. And I got stopped over here. So that was the trade that put me red on it. But it was a position that I wasn't super worried about, that I was able to just set a stop. But if this were to have rolled over in the afternoon, I would have been pissed if I had missed it. So I would have rather have partial size. And right around here, checked in at market close to see if I was stopped on my position. Got stopped. Drew this trend line. It failed. I shorted it. So far we're gapping down, which is a trend change from the last every day. You can see here where it closes flat. Here where it closes, grinds up. Here where it closes, grinds up. And here where it closes, right here, rolls over. So felt like enough of a trend change to warrant an entry. And if we're red, I'll look to add to that position. I had put a few more shares of Qubit on, just given the the smaller range on the day. This was a bit of a laggard to QBTS, so was a lot easier. Yeah, I'm green on it. Was a lot easier to be proactive because it was delaying by maybe not a minute, but damn near close to a minute, which is quite a bit of market time. And especially with this one's high and low set of 860 to 780. So you got 80 cents of range. And if you're trying to play QBTS's range, you've got 1140 to 1020, $1.20 of range. So the way in which this was trading, the spread was tighter. It wasn't trading as thin, as whippy. So I was a bit more comfortable trading this one. I had put on chase size. This was short, and I covered immediately. So I'm like, what's the point in chasing it? Why not just wait for proper risk reward? So I let it pull, bounce, shorted it versus highs, scaled, thinking it might retest lows, covered immediately when it held, reshorted, scaled, covered the flush, covered the last piece, reshorted and covered, reshorted and covered. Or no, this one was a long. This one was a reshort cover that held, and then right around here, just after 10 o'clock, you can see here, like 10 o'clock, QBTS starts to ABCD and perk out, and Qubit doesn't start to perk out until 10:04. So I had got long, and I thought it would. I was just looking for like highs, like a VWAP clear out, which is exactly what we got. But I just keep looking at the daily. I'm like, what kind of pattern is this? Like, I'm buying a stock that's up from 4 to 8. What? I don't care how good it looks intraday. I'm like, what's the point? So I sold it immediately. Rescaled here through these $8 failed fall through, covered, partial, sized back down, and this was the same thing as QBTS. I had put a short on before I was leaving and just set a stop through highs, so it ended up getting stopped. But I put it on here in after hours because we got the same setup as QBTS. Here is a better entry when you get that break and fail to follow through, but I wasn't there. So when I checked back in, I had shorted basically the same average. So I have a bit more size on this one because it closed below its open. So we've got I don't like this line being on there. So we've got a bit more resistance overhead, volume blowout, where QBTS yesterday was more of the volume blowout, and this one is still a green candle. So I'm currently swing short both. So fingers crossed for a gap down. If we gap down and not too much, I'll look to add to that position. Flat open, I'll let it see what it does. If we're gapping up, over 12, I'm definitely out. If we start to build over these 1140s at 1150s, I'll move on. Those are key levels from today. Orgo, another trade from today. Plan on it yesterday. We had that weak close, so I was looking for a 5 break. So we broke 5 with a starter. I let it push. Once it failed back below 5, I shorted and risked on highs. And the plan was to short a 5 break and set a stop and let it work while I'm trading other stuff. That's exactly what I did. I didn't pay too close attention to it. I just let it do its thing. What's up with this monitor? The tilt on it is all messed up. So I had set a stop, let it work while I was doing other things, trading other stuff, and it ended up coming right back. So back into close, we're closing below 5. So first close sub 5. So I shorted it here, right at market close, mobile from the phone, and yeah, see if that one plays out. So a few swing short positions, and we'll see where we're at tomorrow. RGC, that one's going nuts here in after hours. I was too focused on the quantum names. I felt like they were more A-grade setups than RGC was. Unfortunately, the way it goes sometimes is my focus goes elsewhere. Hindsight, obviously, I wish I avoided those today and just bought RGC on the breakout. But in reality, that's not what happened. So I ended up missing this one and decided to focus on quantums. We got a straight up spike through the breakout level, through these 14s, 15 area, and then started to build and consolidate over it. But this would have been the play for me, his dips here, and I would have been all out. There's no way I would have been involved in this. I was watching from my phone, mobile, after hours when it was in like 2070s, 21. And I'm like, shorts are definitely in a bind here. Like, it consolidated all day over the breakout level and now is perking after hours. But I'm not looking to get caught in low float nonsense. Would have worked. Even 100 shares makes you $1,000. It's a wild range. But yeah, I ended up not taking this one, unfortunately. CRVO, we've got a breakout on this one. History of gap ups. Breakout is basically $8. And if you look intraday, we had a couple pulls here that held over under this 8 range. But same kind of thing where it's opening so far below the breakout level that by the time it breaks, the risk reward is shot. So unless you're anticipating the break, I think it's a bit hard to buy. But once it proves itself throughout the day, I think anything in these mid 8s versus an 8 over under risk, you get 50 cents a risk. Even selling up near the highs, you're getting a 2-to-1 trade. So that's how I would trade something like this. Near close, when I was checking in, it was up in the 9s, so I'm not going to chase it. But nice little breakout. I'd be interested week opens there. Anything towards $8. Any sort of flat opens or slight gap downs, I think, get bought up and go green. So I'll still keep that one on watch. GV, geez, this thing still hasn't gone away. It's wild. Coming to the point where it's going to have to pick a direction. Anti, I had shorted this one today. Didn't amount to much. Shorted, scaled, covered. It wasn't breaking down. Volume came back in, holding up pretty well. But a lot of people underwater. You can see on the daily where the volume profile is here in the 120 range. And intraday in the 130 range. So I'd be interested in pops for a short trade here. I think this could round trip back to like 70 or 80 cents. Probably 80 cents. So pops up towards 130. You use it as a guide. And I think gets a good pull. Baba, bit out of character from what I typically watch, but China's been hot, and Baba looks like the nicest daily chart. You got this big flag pull, pretty clean on the weekly. Flag pull, consolidation, double top, higher lows, and breaks out through those 145s. So if you get any opening flushes tomorrow, that like straight down flushes towards those 145s, I think they get bought up. Looking for like a swing trade on it, I think you'd have to be risking pretty wide. I know some guys like to just risk low a day, which kind of aligns with like the 10 EMA. Low a day is about 140 there today. So could risk 140, could risk really wide down to like 134, but I'll look for weak opens and look to join that trend. Definitely a bullish daily with a backwind of the China sector pushing it. Orla, this one's another gold and silver name. A bunch of mining and precious metal stocks are hitting scan. This one's just starting to ramp. Ideally another day higher. If we can get like 10 plus, I'd probably look for a short trade on something like this, but I need range to expand. It just doesn't trade enough. So if we can get range to expand, but just keeping gold and silver names on watch in case they start to get ahead of themselves. And then mass, I think this one's notable. So we had this big volume day, has since curled off and consolidated over top of that volume day. You can see right where the volume profile is here at like $394, which is right here where the prior lows have held over these recent highs and started to perk out of it today. So looking left, 5 minute, there we go. Looking left, this 480 line was recent highs, coupled inside days, and now trend is starting to form. So we've seen CRVO, we've seen RGC, we've seen BABA. So breakouts are working. Even though SPY isn't the strongest it's ever been, people are still willing to buy breakouts. So I like the looks of this. If we zoom out here, There's no volume here overhead. It's all traded down here. So ideally, volume comes back in, but you can see it trades lower and still has nice trends. So I'll be looking at that 480 break for small cap breakout there. Jeff, Mr. What's going on? My New England friend from New Hampshire. How we doing? How we doing? So yeah, I think I hate to be a broken record, but I'm gonna keep stalking these quantum names. Part of me just wants to. I won't do it because it's just bad trading practice. But part of me just wants to add each day until these things fail, because I think they end up. I think they just end up right back where they came from. But you can see over here, you get these multi-day runs, nice first red days, and then they come all the way back. So I'm looking to capture a day like this. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen. Still got that event on Thursday, so I just don't see how this price action is sustainable to hold up for another 3 days. But we'll see. So quantum names, main watches, Orgo I have to keep on watch. If it doesn't fail tomorrow, I'm gonna take it off. But like it's kind of like PSTV, where you get this first close below it. I'm looking for a gap down, scale, and just get a steady unwind, quiet fader. So if it doesn't just gap down and fade tomorrow, I'm gonna just cover and move on, stop watching it. So that's the plan on that one. QBTS and Qubit, I'm thinking everybody's trained to just gap this each day, and now given the trend change into close, I'm thinking these gap down. That's why I put a position on, because if they gap down too much, I have a hard time entering. So at least if I have a starter position, a bit of padding, I might be more willing to scale into that position. Anti pops versus the mid ones, look for round trip. Baba, weak opens, straight down flushes. Look for those to get absorbed, and then mass multi-day breakout on a small cap. So, bunch of stuff on watch again. Hopefully it doesn't all set up tomorrow, because then I'll have issues like I did today. Watching stuff like RGC rip 15 points without me. Curvo starting to break out. But I can only trade so much. I traded 1, 2, 3, 4 names. Anti, Orgo, Qubits, and Qubit. I can't do much more than that. My brain doesn't, I can't focus on them all. So, anyways, see where we're at tomorrow. That's my watch list. But hope you guys enjoyed. And as Timmy likes to say, we'll get in where we fit in and make some goddamn memories. So trade them well, guys, and I will see ya in the room. Peace.